All right. Hello, hello. Hold on one second, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear the sound okay. It looks like it is, but could you just confirm it for me? Uh, hello, hello, Debbie. What's I looking for? It's definitely Monday morning, guys. Um, Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Sorry, long weekend. Um, I was already injured from Thursday night. Went in to play 3 games on Saturday. Felt good after the first game. Second game, I was kind of like, I can kind of start feeling a little bit. After the third game, I was like, yeah, I'm hurting. Got home, was hurting pretty bad. Packed the car, went to the boys' camping trip. Got back yesterday at like 11. Yeah, long weekend. I'm ready for a week a week vacation. Mm, all right. Oh, look, France is now saying that gas prices clearly matter. So everybody in the world except OPEC is saying that this is a problem. So yeah, looks like OPEC's greed is getting a little ahead of themselves. So all right, let me minimize this over here. All right. So far in the overnight, looks like finally the dollar yen got some legs there, and being up 95. Again, that is probably more of a yen play. You can see that the euro pound is only down 5, so it's a little bit of pound strength, but not really nothing that you're gonna write home and be like, yeah, whew, huge pound strength, right? It's not one of those scenarios. So it's mostly the yen over there. You're seeing the dollar yen down a little bit as well. Pretty much everything else is dollar weakness minus that one. So yen is obviously the weak one of of the overnight session. As far as kind of big news today, OPEC is the big one. We've seen a bunch of little headlines come out. They're recommending proceeding with the 400 instead of the 800 because again, they are all about greed. We're at like quite highs at this point, and it's like no. We're gonna not. We don't want to disrupt it too much. We want to keep rising that price. Um, yeah. So I just have to say that OPEC's greed is going to have more effect on climate change than Biden's policies ever will. Because every country in the world is like, this is getting a little out of hand here. And, Biden helping that get out of hand. Yeah. Because obviously he has no control over what OPEC says. But I don't know. Maybe they're working together. Maybe maybe they're partners in climate change because OPEC cares about climate change a lot. So I don't know. Maybe nice guys, right? Right? Could be. Could be. Tonight we have the RBA rate statement. It is a late one. It is 11:30 p.m. It's not the normal 9. Not expected to change anything, but obviously that sets up for an interesting time. I'm also trying to drink water here too. I have a little timer that's like telling me to drink water because I didn't really drink much water in the last 2 days. It was kind of like at the games, I basically drank coffee on the way there, had a little bit of water, but I was like pretty dehydrated. I was 4 pounds lighter when I got home than when I left, if that tells anything. And then obviously at the camping trip, I didn't really drink water. And then yesterday I was like, probably a little dehydrated. So I'm trying to do water and coffee today, guys. So if I feel like if it feels like I'm drinking twice as much, that will be why. Because I'm trying to do one drink coffee, one drink water, one drink coffee, one drink water, one drink coffee. And I know they are fighting each other with the whole hydration thing, but yeah, trying to avoid murder. Right? No, it's not that bad. But yeah. All right, so that's tonight. Going in tomorrow morning, we have some BOJ, and again, it's not necessarily tentative. It's tentative on the time, but he'll speak tomorrow. I don't really see much movement, major things in the overnight. ISM tomorrow, though, will be a big deal. And we have, it's kind of that bam, 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 where we have ICM, we have Lagarde speaking. Quarles, not necessarily a big deal. And then we have the rate statement tomorrow. And again, we know what happened in the past with the rate statement with communication issues, but it looks like everything is good now. Looks like it's time to raise the New Zealand. And again, they will be the first one to raise their overnight or their official cash rate. Will they be the last? Obviously not, but they are the first. So it's been pretty interesting that one of the smaller countries out there as far as like the major pairs go. Um, yeah, first one to raise. Okay. Now interesting things that we've seen this morning, and again, I pointed this out with Todd, talking about how things like this, that the Delta variant hasn't had the expected impact, right? Also saw this morning that new infections of COVID are down 35%, 35% since September 1st. So while there's a talk and basically they're laying medical workers off and all this other things like that, it's down. Even though all these people are horrible, horrible people, it is down 35% in the last 60 or in the last 30 days. And again, that's not too bad considering kids went back to school, right? So there was a lot more interactions. Actually, the spike was actually more around the holiday weekend than the return to school. And actually, I got to say, I am actually kind of surprised. Like, I've had one or two kids that there was like a classmate that had it or something like that. But I mean, my kids go to middle school, right? I think I've gotten, since the start, 3 emails total. Only 3, right? 3 since the start of school in 30 days, or almost 30 days because they started late, about that. So, again, I don't know. For all these people that want to claim that, you got to be this, 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 I don't know. Those were the same people that said follow the science, and the science of Delta said it was going to be 2 months, and guess what? It's kind of holding firm, even though we had the kids going back. So, yeah, yeah, it's interesting. Imagine that. It is following the same trajectory, even though school went back as other people. So, yeah, um, don't know. All right, so that's what we got for today and tomorrow. Tomorrow there'll be a little bit more. Remember, we have the mixed session tomorrow. We'll have the one early and then the one at noon tomorrow, so we won't get to speak before this IM services. Again, look for rollovers at that time. There we go. One finally hit 100. All right, so let's just dive right in. Like I said, I actually kind of have a busy day today. So, Aussie dollar, we're looking for a reversal here at some point in the dollars, right? And all the dollar pairs, but we need a little bit more. So, Aussie dollar, we're rallying back up again. The last time the price came in, we had 2 levels from last week that we drew. The one obviously got hit once already, right after news. That price is sitting. Here's your aggressive, and again, the aggressive will turn an orange. And then the actual level, we'll just bring this back over, is coming in here. So 2 little levels. I think this is some potential for a 1030 reversal today. Again, particularly when we start getting, kind of the full swing of things. This first 10 minutes is always a little bit kind of funky, but I do think that the dollar rolls today. Todd's like, wait a second, but you said it was bad. Yes. But right now, the biggest issue in the economy is it's not our exports, it's the supply chain. Like, I'm so tired of hearing supply chain problems. We can't get resources. We can't build anything. We're trying to get things from overseas. Well, if the dollar's more expensive, guess what? It's very easy to pay more for things when they're overpriced overseas when the dollar is more expensive than their local currency. So technically where we are, although it's not going to help the countries here or the companies here that export, it is much, much easier to acquire things overseas when the dollar is stronger. So yeah, there's that. And that's kind of the biggest disruption of things right now. All right. But again, two nice little levels, 73.09, 73.17 in the Aussie dollar. Aussie yen, again, coming up higher. A couple of different zones here on this one. We have this, we have the 83.35, right? And then we have this other little level. And again, this is more the kind of aggressive level here. I'll change color of this one so it's a little bit different. Like I said, is it a top? Yes. Did it have a nice rollover? Yeah. Is it kind of hard to kind of pinpoint exactly where the sellers are going to be? Yeah, I'd say the more conservative is going to be that 81.35, but a little bit below that is probably not bad either. It was a very nice push out. I like the push out. I like it was actually 3 candles that were red on that one. Only a little bit of a kickback in the last little bit of it. But an hour and a half straight down like that. Again, I know it was parabolic up, parabolic back down again, but kind of like that area, especially with like kind of the timing of things. So, I think it's a decent level. Got a little bit more room to run. As far as buying, again, there's not really. There's there's an area here. Obviously, you can see the basing, right? You can see that again. We like how these wicks are, kind of going higher. Touch, 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 touch. It's hit a few different times. It's a level we could potentially look at for tonight. I mean, for some reason, let's see, how much is that? 61. 61 is a lot. For this to go 61 today, it's not that it can't happen, but that's quite of a rally up and quite of a rally back down again. But it is a level that we could take something long pre-news today, right? It could be something that we take pre-news release today. And again, although the data tonight is, you know, although today it's not the raise that we have tomorrow, it is, again, depending on what they say, if they mention anything even remotely bullish, right? Anything hawkish at all for the Aussie, um, I think it could be good. Now I did see something down here, this one right here, talking about how China's Evergrade collapse, iron ore price could hurt Australia's economy. Maybe, but at the same time, you see that, but then you look down over here and you're talking about how Hobson is buying a 51 stake in Evergrade unit, right? So, is Evergrade going to fail, collapse? Kind of seems like they're getting bailed out. I did hear over the weekend. That they are making all their payments for domestic bonds, but they're basically saying that the foreign bonds, the dollar-held bonds, those are the ones that they haven't been paying. So they're paying the locals; they're just not paying the people from overseas. So it's kind of one of those like they're selectively giving money to who they want to, right? And now you're starting to see their properties and things like that go to other people. So it's kind of like I wonder if the biggest and best assets all go across. Then when Evergrade's not really worth a lot, then they pay out the locals and then they let the foreign bonds fail. Eh, could be a potential scenario, right? Right. I mean, the company collapses. It's like, oh well, we did our best. That's the risk of having bonds. But yeah, they're selling off all the good assets, paying all the locals, and then basically not paying the interest on the foreign bonds. So it's kind of like, would it stay up there for the news tonight? What do you mean? Oh, Ernest, Aussie? Yeah, I would. Ideally, I like it higher. I actually think that they're going to kind of not be because New Zealand is going ahead, right? With their, and again, they were supposed to do it before. I do feel that Australia is a little bit behind. They've controlled COVID really well. Like, they're talking about like, oh my God, we've had 4 infections this week. We need to lock the entire city down, right? Um, but I do feel that they're going to try to be a little bit more shy because, again, China's growth does matter. Some of China's growth numbers and recovery numbers have not looked necessarily the best. I wouldn't say that China is actually leading the recovery anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing kind of the same thing that the ECB does, right? How they're like, it's going to be next year. Yeah, next year. Yeah, we're seeing it. We don't think inflation is going to be as high as we originally expected. I think if they give us the same, if they borrow the speechwriter from whether the UK or the US, it's going to be I would say more of a negative kind of Aussie position tonight. So, could it come down before then? Sure, and then I'd be willing to get long because then if it comes down that much, somebody knows something. But if it stays up high, then yeah, I'd be looking to kind of I'd be looking for some type of a role. Um, I just think they're going to use the same speech writing. Again, remember, kind of like how oil dictates what happens with the CAD. You know, typically gold and again in this case iron, and natural resources are just in general, right? Natural resources in general are affected, but a lot of that too has been more like rare earth metals, not necessarily things like iron, right? But again, it will hurt the overall Australian economy. So, because of that, I bet you they say something negative, even though they probably should be saying the other way. So again, you know, of the two, I would say I'd put more of my money up top shorting versus going long. But if it does come down during the day, then look for it to go back up. Um, Euro pound. So Euro pound is still trying to continue back to the downside. Again, we had a couple trades here last week that we were looking at. Really this morning, I mean, this is a 30-minute. You can see that we had that level of basing here. And again, that was back on the 1st, right? This was Friday. And then we came into the weekend right here. Didn't really do anything. Kind of came up and touched that same level late last night. And then again at the European session open today, right? European session is sitting right there, right? There is your European trade touching a level. So again, is this one you could have taken in the overnight? Sure. Absolutely. Right. There you go. And your 1 to 3 is right. 2.99. So we're basically right there. It needs to go like 1 or 2 more pips down. And you'd be completed your trade from the morning. Right. Now, it is in an area here too. This is one of those ones you're kind of like, it's a little bit far. Yeah, it is. There's a level here. And again, you can see it literally. I mean, literally, look at this. There's where the takeoff was. We mentioned that was our target. Look at this. It hit it. It bounced again. It hit it and it based again and then went off of again. And actually, it hit it a third time and went back up this morning before kind of pushing back down again. So talk about a level that was really messing with people. And look at that. That's just that little tiny hiccup right there, right? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, and number 4 is finally what broke through it. All right, so it's got a little bit more room to run. I'd say a clean target to the downside on this one would be the 8508. Um, Kind of see if we can get all the way down there today, and it could be a potential, tomorrow morning trade. Um, but yeah, so you're sitting there right there on that one, on that 1 to 3. Euro yen. So your yen looks kind of like all the yen pairs are doing. It's straight up. We had this position last week that we were looking for long. It ended up slicing through, and again, not every one of those is right. I don't mind leaving those on the chart. Keeping those on there, it didn't really give us the pullback that we were looking for. And actually, this should have been a little bit lower. But anyway, leaving that on there and changing that from a long into kind of an area of interest, you can see that's exactly what we bounced off of. Now, is it something we necessarily automatically want to go short from? Not really. You got to see kind of the context of it. The fact that it hit here and kind of formed a base below is typically one of those signs that you're like, yeah, you probably don't want to go short this one. Why? Because buyers just stabilized it right here. If the only buyers were down here, that's good, right? You're fine taking that short. But they came up, they pulled back, they stabilized and held right here. It's only like 6, 7 pips away. Yeah, not typically the best place to go short. So where do we go short with this one now? I'd say, this is the next big area here where we had like large amounts of movements would be up here. It's a little bit of a ways away, right? We don't need this one anymore because of the way that it formed here. We have one test of it and we had to roll back down. So, that area is going to come in at approximately 129.63, right? I think watch out for it, see what it does, right? Right now, this is being driven by the yen. Let me see. Is there any news tomorrow? Rent production. Maybe the PPI number. Volatility. Yeah. It's. I don't know if we hold all that in the overnight. It's 36 pips. So, it definitely could start to slow down. It's probably a decent roll. And again, it may be worth something tomorrow morning at kind of like a session open, right? You can see that there's news sitting right here. Um, New cases of COVID, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not a big deal. Um, Probably there. Let's see. Uh, Something along those lines. Right about there. Right. If we can get up to there, again, it'd be a session opener. And we may get another level. We may come up in here in base and start to pull back and then rally back up again. There could be another short before that time, but I would say that wouldn't be necessarily a bad level to take anything short off of this 129.63, playing kind of a reversal of what we see today. Okay. Again, timing that with the session open, I think is not a bad thing either. Okay. Euro dollar. So Eurodollar, you can see that this one hit a few times. Like we got front run, front run, front run, hit, came up, built a base here, hit it again, pulled back down again, and then finally drove through. This area kind of stood its test, right? More than one time. So, thank you for your service. At this point, though, there's not much we can do with it. So I would say, there's a small level here. I like how these wicks got lower and lower and lower and lower. So again, there's a little bit of an aggressive entry sitting right there, right? We can put that in at 116.32. There's a little bit of a hiccup here, but I don't know that I necessarily traded it just in such close proximity to 116.63. And I like the way that one kind of formed with its down draw and kind of basing. So I'd be looking for it there. Let's see. Bottom side, none of this stuff is really explosive off here. Um, a little bit of a test here, but I don't really love any of those in there. This one's a right. It's a test of a test of a test. So kind of hard. These would have been a 4 hour zone that we have. So probably waiting for this one to come back down in this area. And like I said, this is a large area, right? Large area, but we know it's off a higher time frame. So yeah, I just don't like that down here. Like I think I can see anything far enough back, right? Nope. that's kind of what we're dealing with. And I don't even think I can see it on a 1 hour. Oh yeah, we can see it on a 1 hour. It's the 30-minute we can't see it on. So yeah, so that's kind of what we're dealing with. And again, kind of a large zone right here. I mean, it's 15, but I can't really shrink it anymore. Wait, can I see it on the 45? Survey says. Oh, I lose it on the 45. So inside of that 15-minute window is when I lose it. Between 45 minutes and an hour is when it goes bye-bye. Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. All right. So, yeah. I mean, there's a few small levels in there. I'd wait to see if we can get a better base in here somewhere. Find something long. All right. But those are what we're watching out for. Top and bottom. There we go. Pound dollar. All right. So pound yen. So again, 1 touches, 2 touches, basing in here. There's basically your 3. It left. It won't hold anymore. It's done its thing. So this one is also out. We're waiting for this one to really kind of come back up with new life. Let's see. Let's mark our session open, which is right there. Whoops. That green candle right there. We got a little hiccup right here. Although I don't like it really that much because the red was the high candle, not the green. So it looks like 152.07 is where this one has a potential turn and roll. So I'm cool with this one. Like I said, yen is being weak all the way across the board. Again, we're definitely in an uptrend. Nice little pullback. 8:30 US trader stepped in and continued to push higher. So this one only has about 57 pips to go. And that's about an hour and a half worth of movement. Right? Because we have about a 20 pip ATR. The standard's about looks like top and bottom's 25 to 15. Yeah, so around 20. So we got about an hour worth of movement to go in this one. Hour and a half to get up to that level. I think it's decent. You know, again, nice strong push. It was a nice base, nice little pullback, right? And then a nice continue to push lower. So, we do have 2 levels up top, depending on if we want to catch a European session open on this one as well. But I think 152.06 and 152.79, either of those 2 levels are good potential reversals. As far as going long, again, this level is beat up pretty well down here at 150.25. Not much else we can do with it right now. We could draw it, but it's touched so many times. It's not really something that I'd be willing to kind of really step into and be like, yeah, that one's great. So, yeah, like I said, it's more set up for the other way. 148 was a good level that we did like. So again, we'll keep that there. Let's take this. We're just gonna continue to drag this across just for later in the week. Okay. Again, the nice thing about both those two is it's approaching the top third again. So yes, we are technically back into the bearish bias mindset again up top. Okay. Pound dollar, same trade. We're in the racetrack. Oh, excuse me. The yawning is why I'm drinking the coffee because I did not sleep at all last night. The girl was all over. Yeah, she took it actually. So here's an update. You guys know like how we co-sleep with the girl. Yesterday afternoon she took a nap. Now, granted, Melissa started in her bed with her, but she actually took a nap in her own bed yesterday. Cat jumped up there with her. I was like, "This is great. Take pictures." If only she would do this all the time. But no, not yet. Nighttime, it was like, nope. Going to my bed. Where's my Paul Show pillow? So, yeah. But 136.58, guys, I think is the next level we look for. Again, we are still in kind of when we have this, you can see that this is the. I guess I could remove it now just to clear it. There you go. Actually, you know what? Let's do a new one. You can see how beaten up this is. Go. Crap! Did I not save it? There we go. I always do that. I try to do the lock and I delete it by mistake. Don't put those buttons next to each other. All right, there we go. All right, dollar cat. All right, so dollar cat is just slicing through. Now again, this is one of those things. Like this was a decent level. We're really looking for that level for news more than anything else. It's getting sliced through right now because again, oil is probably going crazy. Yes, oil is going crazy. Yeah, and we know why. So again, it's one of those things. It's not surprising. Today would have been a day you were looking to go short this position anyway. And like I said, something as big as world, OPEC cutting and how much they're cutting is one of those big events that you don't expect a little tiny zone like this to hold. Like you said, it was a decent zone, but it wasn't one of the bigger time frame ones. So let's see if we can find a larger time frame. Um, Not really surprised at all that this one broke through. Not with oil doing what it's doing. Meanwhile, Tesla's like, Elon's like, I'm going to get richer and richer. Go OPEC. Let's see if we can shrink that a little bit more. I'm still not buying the Cybertruck, just for the record. Too big with it. All right, so this level here. Here is our target for the day. Oops. There you go. So target for this short right now is 125.28. This is definitely one of those ones with OPEC speaking today. You had to assume that this one was going down. Like I said, I didn't see OPEC going. You know what? We're gonna prove. We're gonna produce 800,000 more. No, no. They had such a big hard time last time. I didn't actually expect. I expected if they did anything, maybe they would jump it to 500. Right? There is definitely no like this cracks me up. The talk of the 800. I'm not exactly sure. Where is it? Right here. I love this one. There's been no talk of the of 800,000. Right? So far, there's been no talks around that. I don't know why anybody really thought they were gonna do 800,000. I'm not sure. Right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so not surprised. But that's why this one's moving. Like I said, the timing of this one again, the reversal. I don't know if we'll even get a 10:30 reversal today, but I would say that maybe there's a 2 o'clock reversal, 2:30 ish time reversal when the market is closing. Right when the oil market starts closing, you get that profit taking coming in. That could lead to the reversal. Actually, let me see. When do we have? Hmm. Thursday, Friday. Everything is Thursday, Friday. All right. So yeah, right now that's our target to the downside. Look for a potential reverse off of that 125.25, or sorry, 125.28. Which we got 40 pips. Yeah, we're not gonna do 40 in the next 30 minutes. If we do, definitely look for it. Yeah. So I look for reversal again. Look for a confirmation bounce off of this one. Don't take this one just blindly. No limit orders for that. Look for that to turn. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss is dropping. So funny enough, we had a Harry Potter down here. We don't have the entry yet. We're kind of looking for a more near term base on this one. We're looking for a break of 120. Sorry, 92.44. Looking for this one to come down all the way to 92.18. This one's moving pretty decent. Like I said, I expect the dollar to kind of start coming back again. I was looking earlier. I didn't really see anything in the Swiss necessarily. I mean, I know there were some comments. I don't see it anywhere over here, but comments about some more missiles and that. Steps up its efforts to ring fence Everguard, not to save it. I'm telling you, it's all sham. They're gonna take the best stuff, give it to other companies, and then default on the bonds they don't feel like paying. Um, yeah, here you go. Chinese warplanes fly towards Taiwan for the second straight day. I feel like it's. I feel like this is why we're starting to see a little bit more with the Swiss. I like there's got to be some military thing in here, but I thought it was North Korea. I thought North Korea shot another missile too. 39 aircraft enter Taiwan's air defense zone. Look at that, 39 planes. It's a training exercise. Training exercise. Hmm. Yeah. Big question is if they do decide to go over and raffle stomp Taiwan, who steps in to help? Yeah. So Anyway, yeah, I was looking for some type of military. Typically for the Swiss to move that much, and again, since the European Open, 61 pips. Typically, that takes some type of military assistance. Military assistance. So, but yeah, we were looking for that short last week if we were able to grind back down again. Didn't expect it to go in one day, but look for that to continue lower. We don't have like really decent buying opportunities until 91, 98. And again, more near term, trying to find like that true level of basing in this one. We kind of need that to stabilize and come back up. But I mean, if you really wanted to draw something, you could kind of draw something in here on a 30-minute, and then again, it becomes kind of that the basing, the pullback, and then the touchback to the downside. So um, we know it's an old area of interest level though, so we are bouncing in a pretty decent little spot there. Okay, dollar yen is just kind of like wow. Look at this. There's the open gap lower, came up, touched it, went down, touched it again, went high, came all the way back down, and then it back up, and we're pretty much in the same exact spot. So the 24-hour movement on this one says 27, but in reality, we haven't really. We're kind of still stuck here. Um, it did turn at an interesting level. I do like this formation right there. I think that's a decent formation. The way that it kind of pushed down, it based, and then it popped out, and then it tested and tested. So it was one that you could have taken a little bit earlier today. It would have been hit number 3 at 7 o'clock. So again, not always the best one right before the U.S. Open, but again, it was a valid zone. I like this. I think this looks pretty decent. Would I short from it again? Probably not. Just because it is hit number 4 coming through. It did have a good reaction off of it last time, but again, I think that was assisted by all the issues that was going on with the yen. So right now, we do know that we had that higher time frame level at 112 to 112.23. You can see that we came up and we were hitting that on Friday, right? Actually, that was Thursday. Friday was over here. I think that's really the next area again that we look for shorts is up in this area. And again, these are higher time frame levels up top. As far as buying opportunities, this is trying to find like really clean levels in this one are difficult. I mean, there's one here. It's okay. Probably like the best looking one is most likely down in here, right? The way that the wicks were coming up, and then boom, it finally took off is probably the only one that I'm really like, yep, that's a decent buy. Um, all the way down there, right? And that we have that's 74 pips. It's got to move. So not really a today thing. That's probably more of a tomorrow thing, right? Um, yeah, it's kind of like me. Yeah, all the cryptos I see just turn red, except Dogecoin. That one's up 4%. And funny enough, Todd this morning was like, "Look, there's nothing happening in the markets. Even natural gas is not moving." And it was up like 3. Now it's up 7%. We're back up to $6. And I'm holding firm, guys. Got 19% in that tank. 19%. All I got to do to crash this market, I'm telling you right now, I will let you guys know when I'm getting to fill it because as soon as I fill it, 2 days after, natural gas will crash. So you guys get ready with those puts. Get ready with those puts. Ow. And with the volatility being high, you typically want to make sure that you're more selling when the volatility is high, and then you take the crush on the opposite side. So there's some play there. But yeah, so that's yen. Let's go across. Look at oil. Yeah, I mean, do you think that's a parabolic move? Yeah, just a little bit, right? I mean, does OPEC have the ability to manipulate the market? Yes. Why? Yes, they do. There we go. And again, these upper levels up here. I mean, it's funny that it came back and grabbed this one, but yeah, right now, I mean, I would not be looking to short this. Um, not from that level anyway. Question is, what kind of pullback do we get in this one? And I do think there's probably a short here. I don't know if this is technically that. I mean, we'll see if this is the top for the day. Um, but yeah, you kind of had to expect that OPEC was going to send oil higher today. Same reason why you expect the dollar CAD to go down. Um, OPEC is in the business of making money, and that is it. There is no other way to put it. Um, people are going to keep buying. We have gas shortages. We should definitely not increase production because gas prices will continue to go higher, and we can make even more money. Yeah, there'll be a reversal sometime today. I don't even know. I mean, look at this. I don't even know when Nothing on the 4 hour. All right, there we go. Looks like on a weekly basis I could find something. Hmm. So it looks like 2014 was the last time that prices were that high. Let's see. So up here. And it looks like based off of a weekly level, it looks like $91.84 is the next level up top. I'll tell you right now, oil prices get to $91. Kiss Biden goodbye as president. Yeah. He'll never be elected a second term if he takes oil from where it was and basically double the price of oil in his administration. Climate change or not, there's no way. Yeah, but that look, I mean, on a technical basis, guys, there's nothing, you know? There's a little tiny hiccup around 81, but there's nothing really stopping this one. And OPEC messing around with the prices. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Can we see? Let's see if I can zoom. Can I go far enough back in the daily? Oh, I can see the daily. Let's see. Let's see if there's any minor levels in the daily. I guess there's a little bit. I guess we could say that there is a little bit of a level right here. It's kind of been tested. And again, that's up at 83.54. 83.54. Yeah. Yep. And it's so and this and I doubt you'd be seeing him running again, regardless of how things work out for him. Honestly, I don't. I mean, you always assume. Put it this way, Nora. He never said he wasn't right. The only one in recent years that I knew that said they would only go for one term was McCain. He said I would only run for one term. Because again, he had questions about his, health and all that kind of other stuff, but he said he'd only be interested in running for one. Not that, the funny thing with that year is like, Jesus couldn't have won that election, but he said he would only run for one term. I don't think Biden has ever made any comments, you know, either way. So you assume that they go for two. So I think most Democrats were like, oh no, it's we're grooming the next person. It's like, well, it's pretty arrogant to assume that you're automatically going to get that second person in. The way things are going now, I don't think that they. I mean, I don't put it this way. I mean, honestly, in the last primary, uh, Ms. Harris lost to Biden pretty ugly. If they went head to head now, I don't know that he would beat her by as much. I don't even know if he would beat her at this point. He's at like his lowest approval rating yet. And he's like, I promise we're going to work double hard on this next one to get our agendas across. And I don't think he's going to get it. I think they're actually losing a lot of control. Even the stimulus bill, or not the stimulus bill, like the budget, debt ceiling, and all that. Like Bernie said that it's going to be less than 3.5. So they're saying basically it has opposition from Republicans, which they expect, but even their more middle of the road fellow Democrats are actually voting against the larger bill. So when your own party is kind of starting to, I mean, in our political environment, when your own party is already starting to kind of go against bills that you have, I think it's kind of it's kind of telling um, where things are kind of going. I think it's funny that I will say I do think it's absolutely hysterical that Trump and DeSantis banter back and forth. Trump's like, yeah, I would beat him. He would never beat me. Right? Yeah. No, I think they need to have like they need to come up with someone. I think I think depending on who the candidate is, I think it's an easy swing. Um, I think I think there needs to be a lot of changing of the guard. I think not that it's going to happen, but I think Nancy needs to leave. I think Nancy needs to be taken out. Like get her out, get her voted out. I think Mitch is probably time for some of the older, more tenured people to get out. AOC can help him out because I think she doesn't belong either. But I feel like for everybody to kind of move forward, you need to clean house with what we have, and I think there's the wrong people in on both sides. Um, but I think if they put the right candidate in, I think it's an easy switch. I think too many people. I don't know. It's politics is too dirty right now, and I think people are getting tired of it. So I mean, if there was a legitimate third party candidate, um, like an actual legitimate one, I think that I think they could. I think like more of a middle of the road. Like I said, Canada, there's a middle Democrat, and then there's a left Democrat, and then a farther left Democrat, and they have Democrat in all the names, right? And they're forced to work together with other people. And I think that's how ours is. We actually do have far right senators, we have more moderate right senators, we have moderate left senators, and we have far left senators. I feel like they should be in their own little parties, which would have made more sense because then they would have been required to work together, but they could still stand up for what they believe in. Instead of basically saying this is a vote, great, I have to vote with my party, right? Like if they would have given Bernie his own. I mean, Bernie basically got robbed. He literally got robbed, and then they did nothing. I want to know what kind of hush hush money Bernie got paid. But if Bernie would have had his own Democrat Party, and then Hillary would have had her own Democratic Party, and then Republicans had two different parties. Like if there was four separate parties, instead of just voting with two sides, right? It's kind of like, well, because not everybody's the same, right? And you guys remember back when it was Hillary, Trump, and then I forget what the other guy's name was. It was the guy that I voted for, the third party guy. Um, like a lot of their issues, it was kind of interesting. Like the Liberal Party guy, Johnson, that's who it was. It was funny. Like for marijuana, it was like Trump was yes for legalization, Hillary was yes for legalization, Johnson was yes with taxation, right? So it adds like that interesting component. So like you go back to like the actual issues again. Um, so, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I don't think he's going. Um, he does, but he doesn't. I mean, it's to say. I mean, you could say Mitch runs the Republicans, but not really. I mean, does Nancy dictate where the Democratic Party goes? No, she's just the mouthpiece. Um, I don't think Nancy has as much sway as she used to. I mean, if they literally ran the parties, then they would be running for president. So they don't really. Um, it's not like in Canada, you don't vote for a candidate, you vote for a party, and then the party has their person that they put in. So I wouldn't say that they run it. Like Trump doesn't run the Republicans. I wouldn't say Mitch runs the Republicans. We don't really have like it's a secret. If anything, like this is a joke, guys, but it's like kind of like there's a secret society behind the scenes that we never actually know who actually pulls the strings, right? Yeah, that's probably more what it is. Nah, but they're just a mouthpiece, Ernest. Like they don't really. I mean, they're just a mouthpiece. A lot of people don't like Nancy. That's why she never made any kind of aspirations. Because remember, at one point, even Democrats wanted to remove Nancy. They thought that she was too polarizing in the position, and then it was kind of like, well, fine, nobody else wants it, then you take it over. She's not actually very liked supposedly with inside of her party. Remember, she's like the epitome of everything the Democrats supposedly hate, right? I mean, her husband is a large market player. Democrats hate people that are in the stock market. They hate rich people. Nancy's loaded, right? I mean, I really dislike AOC. Like, I think she's horrible in Congress. I think that she's the epitome of what everything that's wrong right now. And the fact that she's on the younger side, I think, like her wearing the tax the rich thing, I think is absolutely embarrassing. You know, you look at the price of what her clothes cost, and I just think it's the wrong stage, right? Say anything you want about Trump, but I think she's just as bad with what she does, and taking things like that. But Nancy is the epitome of everything Democrats supposedly hate, right? If the Democrats are the party for the people, Nancy is not the people. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Nancy's husband, he's one of the elite. He throws around $1 million option positions. He is not your average person, right? Yeah, let's tax the rich. Nancy's husband's like, honey, don't get involved. I don't want to be taxed, right? Um, Nah, the president has more power than you think he does. There's a lot of behind. The presidents have plenty of power. They can get through the agendas that they want. Now, Congress thinking that they can limit the president, I think, is absolutely also wrong. Um, and that's where I think that if they think that they should be able to check the president's power, those powers are designed in our original charter. There's supposed to be three of them, so that way, no one party is too powerful, right? The other two would have to stand up and stop the third one. Congress thinking that they can limit all these things like that. I really hope it does go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, not happening. Maybe we'll limit your power. Like if they tried to make that attempt, they should limit Congress's power. And I think Congress's power needs to be limited more. I think I think Congress is way too, you know, I think they are way too into themselves for what they really should be. So now the president has a lot of power. I mean, I think, you know, the fact that a lot of things just need to be approved by the Senate, like, he has the power to do this, but then, has to be approved later on by the Senate. It's kind of like, yeah, you guys are just like, we're doing this just so you can feel important, right? Yeah. Just so you feel important, guys. We know you're not really important. You mess a lot of stuff up, you know? I mean, like balanced budgets. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that's messed up, right? Like, I feel like I think it's absolutely criminal that they get the vote on how much vacation and how what their salary increases are every year. I think that that should be put in the general overall election. What you think that the raise should be? I pretty much guarantee if you gave them the option of no raise, 2% within, or whatever the inflation rate is for the year, I really feel like they would be getting paid a whole lot less, right? If the average, maybe it should be pegged to what overall personal earnings are, right? I mean, we get a every single month we get a personal earnings, right? Maybe they should be given a base, and then at that point it is then adjusted, right? I feel like if that came to a vote, I feel like they would not be getting as many raises as they actually get. Vacation days would not be a thing. Um, well, that was the original plan, not anymore. Need to get the system. Nah, I think the principles of the system are fine. It's it's like the tax code, Ernest. The idea and the principles behind it are sound, but when you have a rule for another rule that adds to another rule that adds to another rule that needs, they just need to simplify it back to the original principles is what they need to do. Um, I think there needs to be I think there needs to be more parties or more requirements. I think the two-party system is only going to continue to cause problems as we go further. Like the fact that those two parties get funding because there's two parties and because they have over a certain percentage of vote. Like when the rules are made to keep those two in power, I think that's where the problem really lies. And those weren't the original rules; those are new added things. So I feel like if you go back to the original principles of it, like if the goal is to, like, I don't agree in taxing the rich. I think that the rich, if we're all about equality and everybody's the same, then they should get taxed the exact same way of everybody else. And they're like, oh, if we tax them an extra $100,000, it's such a minor amount. Great, are you taxing the lower people? If it's such a minor percentage, then why don't you tax everybody? Like that's my thing. Like if we're all about equality, then great, everybody should be taxed. And if you want to tax them more, then put a consumption tax on, like that, the fair tax idea, where if a car tax is 7%. If I buy $1 million car, I'm paying a hell of a lot more taxes than the person that pays $20,000. And if you want to go with luxury items, you're paying more taxes. And then you can get rid of employment. Then you can get rid of all your employment taxes, and just everything becomes a sales tax. And then we don't have, the IRS doesn't need to function because our taxes will get paid on what we buy, not on what we make. You can make as much as you want, and when you spend it, you're paying taxes. That's it. It's a simple fix, but again, the people in power don't want to give that up, right? It's hard. It's put it this way: it's hard to evade paying your taxes when every time you buy something, you're actually just paying your taxes. Hard to argue with that point. It's the voters. We start taking elected folks as celebrities. Yeah, I mean they don't represent the people anymore. I mean, Ernest, it's a great point. I mean, you see these senators that've been in for 54 years. Do they have any idea of really what's happening? Like they made a point. They talked about this the other day. We're going to jump back to the charts in a second here because I do have to get off today. But they talk about how it's funny when senators try to blast people from Facebook because they're not technical people, so they don't know. Yeah, they don't know the right things, but at the same time, Facebook is an entity that has caused so much hate and so much. I mean, I don't care whether you love hate or whether you love Trump or hate Trump. Facebook has done more damage to the United States than Trump ever will. Right? They are such a polarizing factor. They sold our data, and then we're like, "Whoops, sorry." We saw that they can manipulate what we see, million times more control over what. And again, now that they're trying to go after youth, we've already proven, like China. China is now limiting their usage for teens. And what does Facebook do? Nah, the data that you're looking at is all wrong. It's skewed. Yeah, the body image thing got worse for 1 in 3 people, and suicides were high. Like everything about it was bad. And what are they going to do? They're going to drive the narrative more because, again, that's where they want to spend all the money on advertising. And yet there's no regulation. And they're like, the people in Congress don't understand. But like Bernie's been a public servant forever. Does Bernie ever, does he really understand anything? Not really. Like he lives in a bubble. So I mean, again, they look at everything through jaded eyes. That's why I think there needs to be like restrictions on things. There needs to be like term limits. Like it's great. Like again, use AOC as an example. I think it's great that someone is younger. I thought it was ridiculous. She's like, yeah, I'm sleeping on my parents' couch until I can get my apartment in DC. Like, okay, should that person really be controlling where the world goes? Not really, because she doesn't really have she hasn't been out there and gotten like there's requirements for the president, right? You can't be of a certain age and not had enough life experience before you can take that position. I feel like there should be that. But on the flip side, I also feel like there needs to be term limits. I don't think if you're into the same job for 40 something years, do you really know what the average Joe out there is going through? No. So, you know, it is what it is, you know? And again, remember, it used to be about knowing your constituents. Now it's just whatever. People will vote. More people vote against than they vote for. You know, I love those videos when they ask people, "Hey, listen, what do you stand for? What are your what are your issues? What are your stance on these issues?" And people used to know. Now nobody has any idea. It's Trump is the devil. I'm voting the other side. I don't care who it is. When you're more voting against the other person, you're doing it wrong. Then you're can then all you are is the quote cancel culture, right? And nothing's going to get done with that. If you can dwell in the past all you want, but it's not going to fix going the future. And equality is not getting any better. Equality is getting worse, even though the people that are all about equality are in power right now, right? I mean, technically, they can force any issue through they want, and things are not getting better. And we're not getting more equal, right? That's why I love. It's like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna spray. We're gonna spray paint all these monuments because they're signs of inequality. Okay, great. You spray painted the monuments. Monuments are now removed. Is your life more equal than it was 1 month ago? No. No. What has been done, all the attention and focus that was put there, what could you have used all that creative power and could you have made things better? Yeah, you could have, but they focused on so much negative stuff. It's like, guys, let the past die. Like, you got to let the past die. So, I don't know. People will be ignorant forever. Let the people that are ignorant be ignorant by themselves. Be positive and go forward. Gold looks like it's having some issues. I would say gold right now. Again, the two levels I like are 172. Let's see what we got down here at the bottom. It's a decent. I like that little push off of that one. That's pretty decent. 1725. Yeah, so 1725, 1772. Looks like that's a range. I will say there is probably a Harry Potter setting up in here, although I don't really want to short gold. Um, right there, probably a decent short. Yeah, and I think that's decent. Yeah, nice little pop off that level too. So yeah, it drove pretty deep into here. Based, came back, touched, drove pretty deep in again. Break of 1746. Look for that one to come down to approximately 1735, and then 1724 would be overall target to the downside. That's not bad, not bad. So there's your three levels there. Silver's kind of back and forth. Look, same area of interest, right? Hit it, hit it, hit it. Number four broke through it, based in there, came back down, touched it, went higher, came back in, based in there again. So it's all right. I would say watch out for price down here. And if we get price to come all the way down to 2150, 2150 is probably an area where we could find some type of an entry, right? We can probably find some type of an entry. Um, but right now, we got a little bit of chunk through. Top side. We still got this level up here, this 23. We can take this off now. 2313. Now, we did push literally to the brink of that and pushing down. That's probably why we had the Harry Potter drawn before the next level. We need kind of a confirmation out of that. So we can bring this up here and we'll put it on the backside for confirmation. So let's say there's our kind of our top and bottom right now. Hmm. There's going to be a little hiccup. I don't need this right now. It's going to probably be, I wonder if we can get through this little hiccup right there. I, guns are not bad. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I don't. I don't. I think the gun control thing is pointless. Like, I love the people that are like, it's like, hey, cars kill people too. Like, if you have a gun and a car sitting next to each other, and humans don't touch either one, guess what? Neither one will kill anybody. You guys know that? I could put a machete. I could put I could put a tank. I could put a tank, a car, and a gun. Even like, what? I'll even go one step further. I'll put an assault rifle, even though that's not actually a thing. But I'll put those three right next to each other, and nobody can touch them, and tell me which one's more dangerous. Nobody can touch them. Which one is more dangerous? Right? None of them. No, it's the people that are bad guys. Bad people will always do bad things. It's not the guns that make people bad. It's the people that are bad. Yeah. I mean, go tell those like 29 people or whatever in Japan on the subway. Tell them that, you know, tell them that bad people don't exist. That guy that ran through the train with a knife stabbed like 29 people. Yeah, you can have mass killings with people with knives too. Um, yeah, I don't really like I said, silver. I like it long 23.14. I don't know that we'll get back down to 21.50 anytime soon this week. I do think we need to start looking for long opportunities. And like I said, $24 is really kind of where I see price getting back to. I'm trying to think of events this week that will kind of get us there though. Um, maybe maybe Friday. I think it's going to depend on this unemployment claims because last time I think that threw them for. We've had three misses and now they spiked it. So now I'm curious if it's this one turns better. Where's Quarles speaking? Structured Finance Conference in Las Vegas. Ooh, live. Are they taking? Oh, question. Audience questions expected. Let's see if Quarles is on and voting member. So that could move some. I think silver's in there. All right, let's check out these. What is the news this morning? Really? Oh, Buller's always been big on inflation. They have no. They've had no. Look at this. His business contacts say they've had no difficulty raising prices. That raises risk. High inflation may not dissipate back to the 2% target. Oh my God, I believe we said that before. Expects more inflation than we're used to for some time. Ha! Remember I said this multiple times that once we get used to paying those prices, that they're not going to just lower the rates. Yeah, yeah. So again, talking about inflation. So this could be good for silver and gold this week. Maybe this is what we need. Um, maybe that'll give us a bump. But let's drop this down to 15 minutes. Yeah, we're still kind of stuck. We're in a little zone right now. So there's a zone right in there. We hold here. And again, I'm delayed a little bit. It may have already bounced, but 1030 holding that level, we may be able to get a little bit of a kind of push. Actually, I guess there was. Look at this little zone here. There's a zone there at the open for a short. I don't think it did. I don't think it moved. It's 1 to 3 though. How much more does it need? Shim a little bit high. Hold on. It's close. It's basically right there. It's basically right. It's 1 to 3. But again, it's an area where I'd be kind of a little bit hesitant. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We went through now. There we go. So we're through. So the 1 3 from the open is there. And again, it's still kind of just sideways. I wouldn't say, although it's down. I mean, it looks like it's down huge, but really, it's just been basing back and forth. This is where we were at. Basically, here's 11 o'clock, right? Here's the 10. Here's 11:15. So we're basically where we were on Friday. So I wouldn't say that the market is trending in any crazy way, but yeah, talking about that inflation being higher, that's not necessarily great for the indices. And remarkably enough, it's kind of funny. I don't see anything over here about COVID is 35% lower. It's amazing how that works. We have 10% more cases and we're trying to shut down the world, but right now we're 35% lower than we were 30 days ago, and magically you don't see it. I wonder why that is. Wonder why that is. I mean, it's kind of important, right? I mean, I would assume it's kind of important, right? Yeah, Bullard. Bullard's been. Yeah, Bullard's been one of the driving factors. Like I said, I think Powell is playing. I think Bullard is just looking at pure data. I think he's, and again, I'm kind of, um, look, the U.S. may be shifting to a higher productivity growth rate. No, I don't care about that. Um, yeah, I think I align more with what Blard is saying. I think Powell is just trying to play the political game at this point. But I think again, he looks mean. But I feel like I'm definitely more aligning with Bullard as far as his opinions on things. But yeah, so again, him making comments about inflation is probably not helping the overall indices today because, you know, um, do you really want that answer? I don't remember what the question was, Neuro. I don't remember what I did 30 seconds ago. Was that like a hypothetical question? Was it real? I don't remember. Was it about guns? Was it the tank thing? The tank, the automobile? And again, we can make it one step better, Neuro. We can do a tank. We can do an automobile. We can do a gun, like any type of crazy gun you want, like a disintegrator ray, right? And then we could do a fluffy teddy bear. You're two conversations behind, like my father-in-law. Nero, it's called a delay, my friend. It's delayed. It takes you 2 minutes to hear me, and then when you type it back, I don't pay attention. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the COVID numbers being down 35%. I mean, hey, Nero, follow. Remember the science. Yeah, I'm not big on getting my kids. Like if they mandate that my kids have to have the COVID vaccine, and there's still no repercussion that the pharmaceutical company can have, I'll just pull them and I'll do homeschooling. Until the pharmaceutical company can be liable if their vaccine is actually bad, I'm not interested. Yes, aliens. Yes, aliens. I'm in. I'm in. Sign me up. So, put me in, coach. Put me in. Yeah. Hey, every alien movie, who are the people that save us? Is it the people with the guns or without the guns? Right? I mean, look at the zombie apocalypse. Look at The Walking Dead. Who did the best in The Walking Dead? Was it the people without firearms or the people with the firearms? Just saying. Just saying. Right? I mean, Michonne, I think that was her name, Michonne. I mean, she had a sword. She cut both of her brothers' faces off so she could walk them around so they wouldn't eat her, right? If they without a bottom jaw, they couldn't bite her. So she cut their faces in half with a thing, and then that became her like anti-zombie deterrent system, right? Yeah, right. Aliens. Yep. And you know what? Independence Day is like probably the farthest thing, or not the farthest, but like that's probably the most accurate of what actually would happen. We're gonna get our ass kicked. It's gonna be a bunch of rednecks that used to be pilots that are in RVs. They're gonna save us. Yep, they're gonna save us. That's exactly what's gonna happen. We're gonna shoot a nuclear weapon. Nothing's gonna happen. We're like, oh my god, what do we do now? And it's gonna be what was that guy? Was that? It wasn't Tom Arnold. What was that guy's name? The one that drove, who was like a little bit crazy, that says he was abducted by, and then drove it into the end and blew it all up. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. Nah, I mean, Big Pharma could do so much more. Big Pharma is no different than OPEC. I mean, I used to work for Big Pharma, guys. I used to work for Merck. Yeah, that's one of the same drop. Here's NQ before we kind of get lost. Here you go. Look, we're talking about a positive vibe. Obviously, we were not doing a positive vibe this morning. Obviously, it was just a negative vibe. And actually, there's your 9:30. So this one started to leave beforehand. Here's your 9:30. I used to work for Big Pharma. There are some companies that do care about people, and there are other companies that have absolutely no desire. Um, there's your open. Pfizer is not a Pfizer is all about the money. Pfizer does not care about saving lives whatsoever. Um, none, none. It's a nice drop. Where are we going to stop on this one? They are not a research driven company. They are. I'm going to spend a lot of money. I'm just going to buy everybody else's hard work and research and then sell it. We have a lot of problems with them. They were the kind of they're in the same environment as like Purdue. Purdue is another company, has absolutely no ethical morals whatsoever. The opioid crisis exists because of Purdue. And again, I've been in offices with people trying to seek, oxy. They knew that the risks were there, and yet they continued to provide doctors with oxy again and again and again, even though it was being abused. And now we have an epidemic of pain pills because of oxy, and they knew how contagious it was, and they did nothing to stop it. And again, They've now had to settle, pay billions of dollars to pay for it. But when you make $100 billion, do you care if you pay two? No, not really. Again, that's our system. Merck is a good one. I would say that Merck is always, they do care about people. They give tons away. And they have that new COVID pill that basically lowered hospitalizations and death by like 50%. If you have COVID, like basically it'd be like if oh yep, I have COVID, bam, take this pill. Kind of like not Theraflu, Tamiflu, where if you get the flu and you take Tamiflu in like the first day or two, your symptoms go down by like 90%. And like it shortens the how long you're going to have flu or symptoms of the flu from like 7 days down to like 1 or 2. It's kind of the same idea that with what Merck's thing does with COVID. So I'm hoping that it gets its emergency approval. That'll make a big difference for a lot of people as well. Hopefully eliminate some of the brain fog that's in there. NQ, we knew was going to take it on the chops a little bit harder today. It looks like it actually took off early. Let's bring this back up to an hourly. Looks like it's actually right now, it's where this bottom occurred, where this little piece went to. I'd say next level, looks like reliably, we could have something coming in here. Let's just mark that off. And in reality, I don't have an issue with pharma in general. I think the managed care, the insurance system is really what's kind of screwed a lot of that up. The middleman selling the middleman, like I used to have access to the price catalogs. So like we could sell cholesterol. We used to sell cholesterol drugs to like the next person in the chain for like 12 cents a piece. By the time it would get to the individual that would pay for it, like cash wise, it would be $3.25. So like Merck would make 12 cents off a pill, or like 19 cents. It was like under 25 cents a pill, and it was $3.25 by the time it got to the consumer. It was all the middlemen in the middle. So it's like it's hard to say that it's big pharma. Big pharma is selling it for 25. It's less than a quarter a piece, and then they get to us and it's 3.25. Like, where's all the middle ground coming from? It's all the stuff in the middle. That's really what kind of made it crazy. That's the next time where NQ has a decent spot. So yeah, looks like I got some more falling. NQ's got some more room to run. So let's see if it pulls a reversal. What I would do is if it hits this level, guys, look for a bounce, look for a confirmation entry. Do not take it flat. Man, what else is Bullard saying? Jesus. Oh, here you go. Yeah, increasing it by 400 a day. Russia. So now we're going to trust Russia. Russia says if we increase it by 400 barrels a day, prices will stabilize. The market will be stabilized with 400,000 more. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. He was one of the guys that was voting for. Actually, Russia was actually trying to produce more before, but then they got into it with Iran, I guess. Iran, Kuwait, something like that. All right. Let's go back to this one. Let's check to see if this had the same opening pattern. I feel like this one also took off beforehand. Yeah, this one took off a little bit early. This one would have been hard to trade. Look at this. So here's your 930 candle, right? This one would have been the one that you're like, nah, look at that. Broke right through the top before crashing. So this could have been an 8x opening binary, right? You could have traded this one with the shorter durations, right? Had you taken this in futures at that level, you would have got stopped out. It was a winner in ES. NQ may have left it with you a little bit. You would have lost it here had you traded this one in futures. It did just pop through. Went in the same direction. Now, YM is interesting because we got a level sitting right here. We got a level right here. And we got a level sitting right there. So it's got a little bit more to chop through. And then after that, we don't have anything till we come all the way down here. So I would say right now for shorts, YM is the strongest of the group. But I would say if this continues on a negative path, and again, Bullard talking about inflation being higher than expected for a long period of time is not really good for the overall economy. Because remember, okay, so the reason why this is so important, is because remember we were talking about equality, right? And we talked about let's tax the rich. It's only 1%. It's not like a big deal, right? Right? But it's too much. We can't. The 1% for poor people is going to be too much, right? If it's an extra $1.20 that they have to pay, that's too much. They can't afford the extra $1.20. With inflation at 4%, if they can't afford the extra 1% in their taxes, but yet they can afford the 4%, it doesn't. The boat does not hold water. The argument does not hold water. If we're going to stay high for a long time, the people that this is going to hurt the most are the same people that supposedly they can't tax because it's going to hurt them too much. So yeah. So that's why this is continuing to drop. Look for targets at 33,700. That's a decent level. And there is a level that was pretty nicely touched down here lower. I'm wondering if we can drop down, if that'd be an area where we get a kind of a green day, right? Um, right there. And again, go back to my fair tax and you're golden. Yeah, big pharma. Yeah, I mean, understand. I mean, and the thing is, you can't regulate big pharma, Ernest, because if you do, if they don't, if they're in it, it is a business for them, right? I mean, they're not nonprofits. Okay, capitalism will drive innovation. We've seen that with Elon, right? Elon's cars are not free. He makes money off the cars. He makes a ton of money in general. That's how he was able to, fly, to the moon, right? Or will be at the moon, right? If you shackle and take all the motivation or benefits out of pharma, they will cease making anything for us. There's just no point. If it doesn't financially make sense, they're not going to do it. If you rely upon the nonprofit system, if you've ever dealt with a nonprofit, or like if you know anybody that's ever dealt with things like the VA, it's an absolute nightmare. Okay. We can be like, oh, drugs are free in other countries. Yeah, because all the research and development is driven by the US consumer. Okay. That research and development eventually in time could potentially save your life if they were not in a capitalistic environment. They would not produce medicines. If they were not making money off these things, they would not be doing them. That's it. It's just, they would not be doing it. I mean, you got to understand that. Like, it's a business, right? It's the same thing. I mean, automobiles. Yeah, you could still be driving that, that horse and carriage. That horse and buggy still works, right? James uses it weekly, right? You could still be using it. But we have cars because of innovation. Now we're going to have electric cars. We had hydrogen cars. We have all kinds like we have hydrogen. It does half the buses in the world, right? Or half the buses in the United States are hydrogen buses. Where the heck are the hydrogen cars? Why are we not doing that? That's what we're supposed to do, right? I mean, wouldn't that solve our ice capped melting problem if we start using seawater to drive our cars around? Would that not solve half the the country? But no, no, no. It's all about the money. And yeah, we're gonna have like two pharmaceutical companies left. All right, so there's your targets for that. Last but not least, the Russell, and the Russell was actually the strongest one this morning. It was up, and now it is bam. It's already started to turn and roll. But yeah, this I didn't realize Bullard was talking this morning. I would say this one has the same kind of profit target lower. Look for this to come down here, and look for this to come in right here at 21.94. Right, it comes down to our ignorance. You and I understand that. Majority of folk, yeah, it's and in earnest, it's kind of like people don't choose to know. They like it's I don't know. People, it's easier to complain than do the right thing. Look at gold popping. Go gold. Look at that. Go gold. We're approaching a level there too. Silver is rallying up as well. Look at that. Inflation is going to be horrible. Whoop, 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 whoop. Right up there. Look at that. See, when somewhat of importance mentions, inflation, that's a nice little run too. Look at that. Man, it's a $20 bounce in gold. Look at that. $20. Look at that. Thank you, Mr. Blard. Yeah. Look at that. And don't worry, guys. Like I said, according to Novak, this 400 will solve all of our stable, all of our oil problems will be solved. Trust the guy from Russia who's part of OPEC Plus. Trust him. So, all right, let's get into the drawing for the day. We're a bit late, and I have a men's recession in 15 minutes that I want to kind of rest my voice for. All right, got 8 people, and remember, because we did not go Friday, which, by the way, the computer's only shut off once this morning. Only shut off once. I do have the side of the case off though. I have the whole side of the case off, even so it's like kind of it's an open case thing right now. So I'm wondering actually what I think is happening. I think why it shut off. I did a quick memory test on Friday and it did not shut off when I had the case off, and the memory came back fine. The fan on the CPU is moving fine. I believe what it is I think it is the fan inside of the power supply. So I think the power supply is starting to overheat because I'm running a bunch. Even though it's 1,000-watt power supply, I think that age is just starting to get to it. I don't think it's as efficient as it used to be. I think it was overheating when I have too much going. I do have the new one though. It's in the box sitting right next to me. Gotta love Amazon. So I found the one that I wanted on Newegg, and I normally use Newegg, and typically things get here, but I was like, all right, I need this pretty quick. I'm like, let me see if I could find this on Amazon. Let me see if I could get it Prime, and let me see how fast it could actually get here. Found it for the same exact price that Newegg had it for. It was Prime. It was shipped overnight. It was actually here Saturday night. Yesterday I was too dead to do anything with it. But I'm like, man, this is like, it's like having it in the store. 24-hour delivery. Gotta love it, and it was free delivery. If I paid for 24-hour Newegg, it would have been like an extra like $26. I'm like, no, thank you. So, but yes, I think I've rooted out the problem. But remember, Ernest, is Amazon evil or are the people that use it evil? Can evil exist without, others? Right? Can evil exist without good? All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing. Let's see. So again, it is a 50 pip chip Monday. Ernest is in with 3. I don't remember who won on Friday. I honestly don't remember. I don't think it was Ernest or on Thursday. Actually, that was Sean's third day, right? Sean won his third day, so it was supposed to be new on Friday. I know it's so good, Sean. But yes, Sean, you live in upstate Michigan. My first wife, that was what she said too, right? Yeah, Ernest, the same day delivery thing is weird, right? Weird, right? I ordered at 10 o'clock and at 4 o'clock it shows up. I'm like, man, this is like better than going to Best Buy, right? Why do I always get the idiot people at Best Buy. I'm like, oh my God, can you just hit the button, please? No, no, just hit it. Just give. No, I don't care about the receipt. Just give it to me, please. Right? Yeah, if I can get it in the same day, it's awesome. You know what I want? I want the drone to deliver the package. I'm really gonna. I'm very excited for when a drone can deliver me my Amazon. I haven't gotten it yet. I don't know anybody that's gotten one yet. I know they tested it in New York and some other cities. I'm ready for the drone delivery. Give me the drone delivery. Wait, have you gotten a drone delivery, Ernest? Have you really? Oh, yo, if you get a drone delivery, you got to record that for me. I want to see the drone delivering your package. All right, let's close this down. Yeah, so today's 50 pip chips for everybody. Let's see who wins. Winner of today's drawing is. Seems like I just saw a story about a hawk ticket. Yeah. Oh my God, really? Sean Sweet. Wait, I don't think we've ever had a 4 in a row before. Wow. He doesn't get any more than that, but I I don't think we've ever. Honestly, guys, I don't think we've ever. We said we were going to cap it because we didn't want to get it, too out of control. But wow, we've never, ever, ever, ever since we started doing the multiple, we've never had a 4. Never had a 4. Just saying, never had a 4. That's pretty crazy. Where's Sean? Wow, and it's a 50 too. Man, Sean is up big. He's looking at Neuro and Ernest and be like, if I just win everything in the next week and a half, 2 weeks, I can catch both of them. Right? It's crazy. Go, Sean. Look at this. Going higher. Going higher. Woo! Go inflation. Go inflation. Oh, what are they saying here? Oh, the G10 FX speculative position is showing return to pre-pandemic levels. Yeah. And look at this. I still don't see anything about the 35% increase or the 35% reduction. I just don't get it. You talk about how Delta forever it has on a 2-month cycle. Now we're at the 2 months and we're seeing it's backing up the science that we've already seen. But all the science, nobody, where are the science people? There's no science people. I don't get it. Where are the science people? Pound yen is coming down too. Look at pound yen. Pound yen is starting to roll. Oh, damn you, pound yen! I knew it. Knew it. So, all right, that's it, guys. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go get another glass of water, and I got men's session in 9 minutes. So I will catch you guys tomorrow for the morning session, and then I'll catch you at noon for Natics. You guys have a good one. Thanks again.